I'm hoping our next movie, which is hotly anticipated, highly disguised by the PRs, like we haven't been able to know about screenings for this until recently. This is the movie that all Star Wars fans are waiting, because it is the one to end the saga. This is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
My boy. I have been every voice you have ever heard inside your head.
Again.
Sounds creepy, sounds mysterious, doesn't it? Ominous, foreboding, dark.
And again, I've gone and seen some. Well, I've read some reviews which have kind of been a bit of a mixed bag.
Okay.
I saw a fan review which gave it 5 stars. I saw a balanced kind of mediocre review of a 3-star, and that, to be honest, is where this kind of has been sitting for a lot of reviewers. So I'm hoping you're going to give this at least 1 thumb.
It is getting 1 thumb from me.
Okay.
It is getting... Well, so let's go with the plot. Because I have to do the non-spoiler version. So, and this is stuff that's in the trailer or you get from the title crawl, okay? So I'm not going to... So the idea here is that about a year after the events of The Last Jedi, there has been a mysterious message broadcast throughout the galaxy, and it is the voice of Emperor Palpatine, the supposedly dead Emperor from the original trilogy. You know, Ian McDiarmid's character, who I think's first name was revealed at one point as being Shreve in the marketing. It never comes up in the film, but it's in the marketing. I just thought that was so ridiculous I had to mention it.
Okay.
Right. The idea is now, Kylo Ren is the supreme leader of the First Order. He goes out hunting...
Is he still conflicted?
Of course he's conflicted. He's Kylo Ren.
Well, Adam Driver seems to be conflicted just generally nowadays.
He's science fiction's most toxic boyfriend.
Okay.
That's, you know.
Nice analogy.
Yeah. And, he goes off in search of Palpatine because he doesn't want a threat to his empire.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, Rey and the rebellion, or the resistance now, Poe, Finn, etc. They want to hunt Palpatine because he's a bad guy and a new threat.
Okay.
So everybody's searching for Palpatine. That's the plot. And in the meanwhile, there is a new fleet of super weapons, which are basically Star Destroyers with enhancements, I will simply say.
Yeah.
And a couple of new potential villains and a couple of new potential heroes along the way.
So some of the stuff that I've heard from early views of this is that it doesn't quite get to the point. It kind of takes its time. It throws it like it. First, it's
who's
a bit,
told you that?
Well, I was coming some of the stuff that I read. So it's trying to push the plot line along, but yet there's elements of it sort of being like overly action based, right? So it's like, what's going on with the narrative?
All narrative, no character. How about
Oh, interesting.
that? Right. It's very obvious that at some point J.J. Abrams had intended to write and direct, or at least partially write and fully direct the entire trilogy here. Because what you get, first and foremost, we have to deal with I want to say the elephant in the room. Let's call it the bantha in the room. Let's deal with the bantha in the room, which is The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Right, which is, for my money, the second best Star Wars movie.
Okay.
Genuinely, I think it is that.
I think you're on your own there. A lot of people didn't like it. I didn't like it.
It's that franchise's Skyfall or Dark Knight.
Okay.
And you can see the obvious comparison points, even if you
Yeah.
don't agree with it. You can see where the basis for that comparison might
Yeah.
be. This film, for the first half, would like to pretend that The Last Jedi never happened. For the second half, it goes out of its way to just aggressively contradict it.
Okay.
And I mean up to and including all of the great big plot points revealed in The Last Jedi. Everything we learned from it, contradicted. You're actually better off having not seen The Last Jedi than you are having seen it.
I remember walking out of there going, this is such a setup movie, The Last Jedi, and what I would want from this movie is to have all those questions answered.
No, it just basically goes back to the beginning of Last Jedi and does its own version, because what you get is J.J. Abrams Part 2 and J.J. Abrams Part 3 smashed into one film. And to make room for all that, what he's done is taken out all the character stuff.
Okay.
So you've got way too much movie, and unlike something like Avengers Endgame, where they just filled out the runtime, they just expanded the runtime, nope.
What is the runtime on this?
The runtime on this is a nice, tidy 2 hours, 21 minutes, which is actually one of the shorter...
Yeah, it'd be about that. Yeah, okay.
One of the shorter ones, because I think Last Jedi was like 2.5 to 3
Yeah, it's a bit of a bum ache.
It was. Let's see. Considering how woke and startlingly and refreshingly feminist The Last Jedi was, this is counterproductive on that angle to the point of being offensive.
Do you know what? I think with The Force Awakens, we were transported back to a world that we loved. The practical effects were back. We had these nostalgic characters. We had the humor on point, and we were like, J.J. Abrams has nailed this. And then we kind of go, that was the Star Wars film that I wanted to see, having loved the originals. However, The Last Jedi, I was really not that impressed with. And then I would like to think that this is coming back up again, but it sounds like it's gone from good to bad to worse.
Well, for me, it went from good to great to Godfather 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And to say that Star Wars now has its own Godfather 3 is one of the most depressing sentences I've ever uttered.
Are you on your own with this thinking, though?
Nope.
Okay.
Decidedly not.
Okay.
Nope, decidedly not indeed. I took my roommate along to another screening of it last night.
Right.
And, the unfiltered rage that came out of him afterwards, it was terrific.
But what about all the fans who went to see it at the midnight screening?
Right. The buzz was not great coming out of the cinema. A lot of people were very let down. There were a couple of whiny, hyperactive kids, but other than that...
All in costumes?
Oh, actually, yes, interestingly enough. The thing I've noticed in the immediate buzz from non-film critics, from regular, ordinary people, is that there is a lot of snidey, well, this is for those people who just want to whine and fanboy all over The Last Jedi, those idiots. This is real Star Wars. You're like, no, right, it looks great, and there are some moments that are genuinely terrific. There's a couple of comedy beats that really work.
I was going to ask you what the redeeming features were.
And those are the elements that get it a thumb from me. Also, Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, still terrific. I like John Boyega a lot in these movies as well, actually.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
However, I'm sorry, J.J. Abrams owes Kelly Marie Tran a house. Right. He has to buy her a house. But what he has done to that woman with this film is offensive.
Okay.
What he has done to little girls through the character of Rey is offensive. What he has done to the overall overarching legacy of Star Wars, he and Chris Terrio, who I'd like to remind the world...
Explain yourself.
Right,
what's he done?
He and Chris Terrio, who, remember, wrote Justice League, have written a movie so afraid of being in any way challenging or offensive to any of its supposed hardcore fan base, that what he's done is go out of his way to make a movie nobody can hate, to the extent nobody can genuinely love it. You'll be hard-pressed to like it. It is a chore. There are so many times when they think they're being clever. What they're actually just doing is recycling material. Do you remember Star Trek Into Darkness and how everyone complained that it was just all repeated lines and stuff from Wrath of Khan? Same thing. Only here, he's doing it with the entire Star Wars saga.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a Star Wars fan are you?
No, about an 8.
Okay, so you are a big Star Wars fan. Okay.
Not to the extent I've ever read the extended universe or anything. I own toy lightsabers.
Fine. Okay. So you're coming to this from a passion point about this movie, right? You want to see it. There's things that you will remember. You will have pre-watched everything to kind of, make sure you're up to speed. Some people going into this cinema might not have done that, but they're up for the hype. They want to know, it's a big film. We should go and see it. Maybe I'll take the kids because, they might enjoy it. It's something that we remember kind of getting into when we were kids and stuff. That audience, how much will they enjoy it versus a mega fan?
I don't think they'll have a goddamn clue what's going on because this thing is so steeped in fan service.
Right.
This thing genuinely reads like a checklist was handed down from either a Lucasfilm or Disney executive, and they were simply told, write that movie.
Okay, and do you think that the problem is actually in the edit?
No, I think the problem is almost entirely in the script.
Right.
This is genuinely, as a film, at best, like I say, at best, it is a mess of a film. At worst, it is an act of cinematic cowardice. Episode 1 was a better movie than The Rise of Skywalker, and Episode 1 is one of the worst sci-fi action-adventure movies ever released.
Interesting.
I think it is the worst episode of Star Wars.
What a way to end the saga. What a shame.
Not with a bang.
No.
But with a whimper. But you know what? One thumb, because there were moments.
There is a redeeming feature, because right now we haven't had any thumbs whatsoever in this.
You know what? We'll have some fun.
podcast.
We'll have some fun in the next blog, honestly.
Okay. All right. Well, Rise of Skywalker might not be your Christmas cracker, but it certainly is that one little bit better than The Courier and Cats. So we'll be back with your top movies on TV over the Christmas period, and we hope you enjoy that a little bit more than Van enjoyed this week's movies.